I am so sick and tired of the liberal agenda that is destroying our country, from our schools to our workplaces to our media. It's literally everywhere. Well, everywhere maybe, but not this show. Never. Here you get the truth, unfiltered and unapologetic. I don't care if I hurt feelings or if I take a position that isn't agreeable or if I step on somebody's toes. I call them the way I see them, and then I put it out there for free. To keep this show free, I need your help. Please go to nickdip.com and make a contribution, or even better, subscribe at thecomicsgym.com or on Patreon today and get an extra Encore show each day. Discounts on merchandise and a whole lot more. Thank you guys so much for watching, sharing, and contributing to the best show, in my opinion, on the internet and the most honest. You guys make it happen.
I'm not homeless, guys. I just moved to Georgia waiting for my house to be ready to put the urethane on the floors and all that horse shit. So I'm staying at a buddy's. Well, he said it was a guest bedroom. Welcome to Georgia. I don't know. Usually there's an engine block in the front yard or a fucking canoe. I got radial tires, but it's all good. I mean, nice mattress, plenty to eat. I look like an actor living in New York City. Anyways, it's gonna be great down here. Keep your chin up, I am. I gotta pee.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Georgia, everybody. How are you? The new version of the Nick DiPaolo Show. Glad to be with you. Excited to be here, folks. You know, I just made the move. I always had more in common with people in the South and in Georgia and whatnot. And so I'm very comfortable down here. Well, I'll be honest. The first week, it was like my cousin Nicky. I was a little out of sorts, and people were busting my balls about how I dressed and whatnot. Real quick shout-outs. Sil Gendron gave a very nice contribution. And Richard Reddy, who's in the service, by the way, in Germany. Richard, thank you for your service, and he's a Patreon member. Thank you for the contribution. Go to nickdip.com to contribute. And, yeah, I'm loving it down here. Sure, it's 93. Fucking April, and my nuts have been stuck to my legs since I got off the plane last week. But, you know, there's things you can do. Cornmeal, that's what they use down south. You dip your balls in cornmeal like the hush puppies, and you're off to the races. You know what I'm saying? There's an answer for everything. The people, a little different, you know, a little bit of a culture clash, but they're very friendly. I met my next-door neighbor, and he wasn't fond of how I dress, I guess, and here he is.
I'm sick of all these city boys in their damn slacks, preppy-ass shirt. These damn coveralls holding some big fucking balls. Ready to whoop some city boys' ass.
Yeah, bring it on, bitch. I got a Calvin Klein tie on. I'll knock that fucking hat right off your head. Red man. How about redneck? Change that hat, silly. He was an extra on Hee Haw for 12 years. It's amazing. He looks very good. Anyways, what is going on in the news, ladies and gentlemen? Despite record diversity, there's that word again. It's that fucking mantra, you know, diversity. I'm so sick of it. If you go to my first comedy album, which I did in 1993, I was saying diversity was a crock of shit. 1993, that's 26 years ago. I was ahead of the curve and labeled a bigot for that. But the people in San Diego that were all white that night, they were laughing their tits off, I'll tell you. Democrats seeking to reclaim the White House are calling for a generational change. It might be time for a woman or a minority. Well, that's your fucking opinion.
They're ignorant. That's ignorant.
But for all the talk of breaking new presidential ground, the opposition party's top candidates to become the new boss look about the same as the current boss. White, male, and pretty old. I love how they can just... These are the PC party that every time we say the word black, they get quiet, or Jew, and they shit their pants. But they can throw around old, white, black, old, white, male. They throw it around like it's nothing. And I will be doing the same on this show. So if you're sick of that, join in my hatred for the Democrats, okay? The two top candidates leading the race to replace him are pale, male, and stale, too. Ooh, alliteration almost. Pale, male. What the fuck? When Obama was there, we didn't say we had a skinny black stick figure who wears his mother-in-law's jeans and a fucking helmet when he rides a bike. Big girl. And that's why they hate Trump, by the way, because he is a white male billionaire. People always talk about, why do they hate Trump so much? He embodies everything they hate. He's an alpha male. He's rich. He's got blue eyes and blonde hair. He is the devil incarnate to these people. Former Vice President Joe Biden, who jumped into the race Thursday, he's 76, has spent the bulk of his life in national politics, while Bernie Sanders, that old curmudgeon Jew, who I like, by the way. I don't like his politics, but I like that he's a miserable prick. Every time you see him speak, you go, this guy hasn't taken a good dump in about 3 weeks. He's just a miserable son of a bitch. But he's been in Congress since 1991. The two men's dominance in the 2020 Democratic field is at odds with last year's midterms, when record numbers of women and minorities were elected to the most diverse U.S. Congress ever. They don't even care. They don't even care about merit, whether you can do the job or not. Apparently, it's not that hard. I mean, Trump jumped into it. He was never in politics ever in his whole life, and he's kicking ass, regardless of what MSNBC's telling you and CNN. The presidential race itself is historically diverse. 6 broads, chicks, tits, women candidates. 3 black fellas, African Americans. What's the proper term? I don't know. One of those might be a broad. I'm so confused. Hispanic, former cabinet member, which is funny. I have a Hispanic put in my cabinets at my new house. You can laugh, fellas. What the fuck? Jesus, you're holding it in. Oh, we have an Asian American run for president. Yeah, I'm sure he's got a shot. And what's his slogan? A chicken and broccoli in every pot. Just made that up. Show me another fucking host that can do that. We're coming to you live, by the way.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Goddamn right.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Told you I was in a good mood this morning. And yet it is the two septuagenarians who currently dominate the nominations landscape, with Biden at 29% and Sanders at 23%, and the latest Real Clear Politics polling. What is the big... They're upset about this. The Dems are upset about this. The NBA is about, 85% black? You know why? They're really good at it. Did it ever fucking dawn on you that old white guys... By the way, this country is founded by old white guys. 4 fucking white guys, actually. So don't get your panties in a bunch that we have, it's not all black and women a couple hundred years later. It's happening, but not fast enough for these people. But my point is, what would you rather watch? An NBA league that was 85% white? I wouldn't. You want to watch people playing a foot under the rim? Put on the fucking WNBA. Okay? So hung up on diversity. How about who can do the goddamn job? Kamala Harris. Unlike recent congressional elections, presidential politics has been the most dominated by men and masculinity for all of our history. And I just explained to you why. If it was founded by if this country was founded by 6 black transgender women, that's what we'll be focusing on. Apparently, that's what the colleges are focusing on. This woman who did this poll, Ditmar, said it's not true just in who inhabits the office, but in the norms of behavior and expectations voters place in presidential leaders. You know what they expect from presidential leaders? People who won't go around the fucking planet on their first day apologizing for the United States. They want somebody who can kick the economy into gear. Trump, check box. Somebody who will crush ISIS, check. Somebody who will put people on the Supreme Court who won't interpret the Constitution the way they feel, but the way it was written. That's what most Americans want. How do you think the orange fella got in? Fucking cocksuckers. Anyways, a woman, of course, has made the case that it's possible to shatter that presidential shield of masculinity as Hillary Clinton. Shattered that glass ceiling only because she weighs 650 pounds. And her feet went right through it. But she did when she won more popular votes than Trump in 2016. Yet she still lost because she was a lazy old broad laying on the couch in Chappaqua. Bill's like, honey, you got to go to Wisconsin. You got to go to Michigan. Fuck that. I got it wrapped up. Didn't you watch Rachel Maddow with that giant Adam's apple? Yeah, fuckhead. So yeah, they want a woman in there, and Hillary was the closest that they came, and boy, they're still pissed about
Make me a
that.
sandwich.
Oh, that's
Make me a
sexist.
fucking
That's sexist.
sandwich.
White man's privilege. The hype that accompanied the entry into the race by Texan Beto O'Rourke. Do you guys remember him? Skateboarding pussy. 6.3 he's polling at. I came in at 7.8. A white 40-something ex-congressman with a thin resume contrasted sharply with the muted coverage of the rollout by progressive Senator Elizabeth Warren, who came in at a whopping 6.5%. We call her olive oil. She's a titless wonder and a leftist. O'Rourke, who literally wandered into the wilderness before launching his campaign, appeared to acknowledge the hand he has been done. This is a quote from Beto O'Rourke, big girl. As a white man who has had privileges that others could not depend on or take for granted, I've clearly had advantages over the course of my life, he told NBC News as they all jerked off to him. That's why you're polling at 6.3% and you had 12 college kids at your last rally. Even the young kids don't like your self-hating white man. I had it all handed to me. Fucking bullshit. I hear that. People say that to me. I got into it with somebody in a podcast that I wouldn't admit. I go, yeah, I'm so privileged. I'm at the Comedy Cellar making $20. The other people have been doing it for 10 minutes. The fuck are you talking about? My grandparents are from Italy. They came over here with garlic knots in their pocket. And in their stomach. Deke, put that hat on like a white guy, will you? You look like a 14-year-old fucking gangbanger. Thank you. This is the Nick DiPaolo show, okay? I'm not doing the fucking Ray Rice interview. Anyways, Sanders and Biden, unlike O'Rourke, have gotten to the point in which they realize the limitations they have as older white men in being able to understand the challenges of women in communities of color. Oh,
Shut up!
please stop with that fucking horseshit.
Shut up!
What percentage of the United States population is made up of black females? What is it? 0.009%? Just like gays make up about 4% of the world population, but 90% of the programming on the Food Network. I can't find a straight person on there. If you watch the Food Network, I want to put on Chop once without seeing a broad that looks like John Madden with a purple crew cut. She's in a summer dress, 9 rings in her nose, peeling a carrot angrily. She's got forearms like the skipper from Gilligan's Island, just fuming. It's still 68% white, the country. Folks, it'll change. Democrats, don't worry. I know you can't get us out of the way quick enough, but you got 2 old white guys winning your race. What does that tell you? What do you... Quit fighting it and take note. And one of them's Jewish. I thought this was a bigoted country. But they will need to speak in a more detailed way about how you're going to best empathize with the experiences of women and communities of color in a way that goes beyond a tagline or one thing you did in the past. Miss Dittmar, do me a favor.
You need to shut the fuck up!
You know what you got to do? You white guys running against and losing to Biden and Bernie, you got to go transgender. Just identify yourself as a black fucking housemaid or whatever. Dress like that for the rest of the... You will win. You will win. Throw in a hair lip, too, and a limp. They like that. I read an article, the question about Bernie Sanders, the headline read, is Bernie likable enough? Well, I think this picture says it all, don't you? Sure. Look at him. Who wouldn't want to say hi to him at Starbucks? Look at that fucking thing. 2 words for you, bran muffins. Look at the guy to Bernie's right. Bernie just farted, one of those dehydrated 90-year-old mummy farts. Fucking guy on the right is going, do I have shit on my upper lip? Jesus Christ. The guy on Bernie's, to my left, he's just looking away. Look at the lady in the front. Her eyes, it's like mustard gas. He just dropped a bagel schmear fart that would have taken out 200 Kurds. They can't believe that all white guys are still winning. I'm sorry. Black guys are great athletes. White guys are great politicians. Born lying cocksuckers. Oh, having fun yet, everybody? Are you? I know I am. Great show, isn't it?
You know you want crazy motherfucking wop, man.
Hey, mind your business. Anyways, the New York Times is under fire because that's a really reliable paper. They give away fucking military secrets and, just I wouldn't let my cat shit on the New York Times if I had a cat that I didn't kill. But they're in some deep doo-doo. Under fire, New York Times finally apologizes for anti-Semitic cartoon.
Get this through your head, Get this through your head, you Jew motherfucker, you!
Let's see the picture of that cartoon up there. Look at that. That is... Why would you make him a Venus Schnitzel dog? Even that... Aren't those German? Were they rubbing it in? Put mustard on that thing. It looks like Trump's trying to fuck it, first of all. That's what I found offensive. But can you imagine? That looks like John Madden coaching the Raiders. Can you imagine if this was on Breitbart or some other so-called bigoted website? And look, they give Netanyahu the big Jewish nose and shit. This is the New York Times. That's owned by Jews. At least it was. But this is, how could you not be offended by this? They're catching all kinds of shit, by the way. But this looks like something you'd see in a Klan paper or whatever. The Times ran a cartoon on Thursday showing a blind President Trump wearing a skull cap. Is that what they call skull caps? That's even, it's a yarmulke, right?
Yeah, it's a yarmulke.
It's a yarmulke, skull cap. That's something you put on a baby that was born with water on his head. That's a skull cap. That's, I don't know who drew that, but that's fucking pretty funny. I don't know why they went with that dog, though. It looks like Trump's penis it's got a face on the head. Does it not, ladies and gentlemen? Anyways, they show a blind Donald Trump wearing a skull cap being led around by Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is portrayed as a dog. The leash and collar on the Netanyahu dog character in the cartoon have a Star of David on it. Well, is that what upset you? He is Jewish. But he can put a gold chain on him like he's fucking Barkley. But the problem is this mirrors literal Nazi propaganda against Jews. And then British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, some people have pointed out on social media. We actually have some audio of the editor who put this up at the New York Times. We secretly recorded him talking. Actually, it was a woman actually talking, and they were having a discussion about this. And
it seems foolish to have all this money lying around.
Oh, you'd rather have it down at the bank where the Jewish guys can leer at it? Yeah.
The New York Times Saturday retracting the imagery. The image was offensive and it was an error of judgment to publish it. It was provided by the New York Times news service and syndicate, which has since deleted it. We also have more audio of somebody that worked at the Times that was upset about deleting it. This is what he had to say.
The satanic Jews, they control everything and mostly everybody.
That was the Times. The Times retracted it and said it was an error in judgment to publish it. Its original editor's note statement did not apologize for this at all. Also did not answer when asked by Breitbart News about structural reforms that may be necessary as a result of this mistake. They've been doing this shit for years. Like they said, in World War II, when the Nazis were slaughtering the Jews, they put it on page like 9 with the horoscopes. Aquarius. Ooh, you'll come into money soon. What's this? Oh, 6 million Jews slaughtered. I mean, come on. They've always been anti-Semitic. I live in New York City. That's when I started reading the New York Post, which you can read in 5 minutes. That's more my speed. Even so, despite the criticism, the Times held on for more than a full day after the initial reaction without an apology and without any transparency about what was happening inside the newspaper. Yeah, good luck with that. But now with the latest statement on Sunday, three whole fucking days after the publication of the anti-Semitic image and a full More than 24 hours after the initial retraction, the Times is finally openly apologizing for its actions and announcing an internal review and significant changes to its editorial process to come. They're going to hire nothing but black transvestites. That's how they're going to overcome this. They said, "We are deeply sorry for the publication of anti-Semitic political cartoon last Thursday in the print edition of the New York Times that circulates outside of the United States, and we are committed to making sure nothing like this happens again." We've hired 3 young black kids from Wendy's to do the editing. Is that? Oh, I'm sorry. I misread that. The statement continued, such imagery. Now, this is coming from the paper that posted this clearly anti-Semitic thing that the whole world knows is anti-Semitic. And if you can believe any of this, such image that put a bun on that thing. I'm starving. Just somebody get me a pound of onions and some Gouldens. God damn it. Such imagery is always dangerous. And at a time when anti-Semitism is on the rise worldwide, they'll blame that on Trump too, it's all the more unacceptable. Yeah, so why'd you put it out there, you motherless tit wonders? We have investigated how this happened and learned that because of a faulty process, they make it sound like a circuit blew somewhere, a single editor working without adequate oversight, they're blaming it on a single guy that a single editor that we hired off the streets, working without adequate oversight. What? This is how it works at the time. Downloaded the syndicated cartoon and made the decision to include it on the opinion page. He later stormed out of his office doing a goose step with his armband. The matter remains under review, and we are evaluating. Oh, it's so complicated. You fire the fucking guy. That's the beauty of being on the left. You could get caught fucking slapping a baby in the face, and they're like, we're going to promote that person. We are evaluating our internal processes and training. We anticipate significant changes. How about you burn down the fucking building and try reporting real news, okay? The Times has still not identified who that single editor was. But his name is Rasen, who somehow made the decision unilaterally to publish the cartoon. What a crock of fucking shit that is. You know that?
I don't know nothing about that.
You know everything about it. It's typical for the New York Times. They don't like Jews. There's Jews in New York who don't like Jews. They're so far left. A lot of them moved from the Lower East Side of Manhattan down to Florida. And they migrated down south. And they go into these towns, probably here too. Well, I don't know. They move here to Georgia. But they go down. You know what they do? They change the whole voting in certain towns because it's all like, real hard leftists. And they'll turn a red town that's votes, Republican into I hear people complaining about it when I do these gigs in Florida. Someday I won't be doing those. That's my wet dream. Anyways, fuck you, New York Times. Nobody believes you. And you waited 3 days. You know who was upset about it? Donald Trump Jr. There he is. And holy Christ. That's good. He's doing the black power sign. What the fuck? His old man's supposed to be a racist, and here he is, like he just won the '68 Olympics. Standing on a box next to 2 black guys in the 440 relay. But Donald Trump, who looks like every guy that was in that film Wall Street. Disgusting, he tweeted. I have no words for flagrant anti-Semitism on display here. I don't mind regular anti-Semitism, but flagrant is where I draw the fucking line. Imagine this was something other than a leftist newspaper. Exactly. And that's what's so funny about it. They're always pointing their fingers at the right and calling them bigots, anti-Semites, racist. And we all know the truth. You dinks. So Donald Trump's, he's upset. Trump Jr. is not the only son of the 2 world leaders in the cartoon who spoke out. Netanyahu's son, Yair. Oh, there's a message from Louis C.K. Says, I'm in jail. Help me out. Netanyahu's son, Yair, slammed the New York Times over the depiction. He said, New York Times. No, he said no one should be surprised by the vile anti-Semitic cartoon published by the Times. Yari changed the time. He said, charged the New York Times has always been anti-Israel newspaper, and yes, anti-Jewish too. Netanyahu referred, among other things, I brought this up earlier, to the Times' controversial World War II treatment of reports that Adolf Hitler was methodically murdering the Jews of Europe, with the newspaper at the time infamously relegating the few reports it carried on the Holocaust to the back pages. They just admitted there was a Holocaust like 2 weeks ago, the Times. For the love of my sister's ass. Why is, excuse me, Priscilla? Is that you? What? I'm getting messages that has your name on it. You're fired. Huh? Well, tell him to stop. Anyways, no one should be surprised about the violent anti-Semitic cartoon in the Times. That's what he said. During World War II, the newspaper deliberately hid from the American public news dispatches about the extermination of millions of Jews in Europe. And he's absolutely right about that. It's no surprise, he says, that the New York Times so strongly opposes President Trump's brave decisions to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and declare the Golan Heights as part of Israel. Also, we should acknowledge Trump moving the Arby's in Queens that was rat-filled. Moved it to Brooklyn. Kind of a unilateral fucking move.
This committee owes an apology. This committee owes an apology.
So we know who the anti-Semites are. And if you live in New York, buy the New York Post. Like I said, it's a fucking pamphlet that you can read in 5 minutes. But it's just so ironic. The most politically correct party. It's always them. They project, they are the racists. They are the bigots. They always have been. They started the Klan. They were pro-slavery Democrats for years. What else? Oh, this was my favorite story of the day. You know Jake Tapper? He worked at Fox News for about 5 minutes, and then we found out that he was a leftist fucking moron, a useful idiot, as you would say. CNN's Jake Tapper admits Trump did not call neo-Nazis very fine people in Charlottesville. But didn't we all know that have a half a fucking brain? I think we did. The admission came as Tapper and his CNN panel discussed former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign launch video released on Thursday. This fucking pissed me off so goddamn much. Biden announced last Thursday, even though we established that he grabs tits and sniffs dogs' asses and old ladies, and he he's on the spectrum of autistic. You guys call Trump dumb. This guy is a fucking moron. I want to like him because he's had a lot of tragedy in his life. You know, he lost his wife and daughter in a car accident. And you can't tell me that didn't affect him in some way. He lost his son to cancer. I think it's karma for his politics, personally. But he announced that he was running for president. And right away, in his announcement, in his goddamn announcement, not even, the campaign hasn't even started yet. In his announcement, he plays the race card about what Trump said after, here you go.
And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides?
Yeah. Did it come out in French, shithead? How come I knew exactly what Trump was talking about that day? Those people were protesting the fucking General Lee statue. And that's who he was talking about. I knew it, everybody. But a lot of this blame should go on the Trump administration. They didn't address it. They let it grow. They let it fester like a tumor on Hillary's ass for a couple years. And then Trump finally addresses it. Very fine people on both sides. Maybe he's talking about the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. You wouldn't know that, though, Dems. You're watching Game of Thrones and playing Dungeons and Dragons because you get beat up as kids, thank Christ. Am I almost done? Can I get my free cheeseburger? We need a clock, by the way. Somebody make a note. We need a goddamn clock. Find one now if you can. I don't like to perform without a clock. I'm a professional. Got this out of the tub. It backed up at the house. Bought a house that was built in 11 A.D. How many 4 bedrooms you know that have a motor on it? Mama. So, CNN, if you're still watching CNN, that means you're severely retarded or you're trapped at any airport at Delta.
Can you stay categorically? You are fake news.
Sir. So Trump came out recently and, 2 years later and said, this one really pissed me off because it reminded me of the George W. Bush administration. The left would say all this lying shit about him and they'd turn a cheek. They kept trying. You know what that got us? 8 years of Obama. When somebody says something untrue about you, you get in their face. Don't you? That's why I love Trump. He's like me. I have a lot. All the qualities that people hate in Trump, I have them too. They say he's petty and shit. And my parents used to say to me, you can't let anything go. And I go, yeah, that's exactly right. And that's how I am as an adult. If I'm at the food court at the mall and there's like a 10-year-old girl staring at me, I go, what the fuck are you looking at? I'll slap that ice cream cone out of your hand. You never seen a handsome, nice, young Italian fella enjoying a slice of fucking pizza? Mind your business, bitch. I call that a teachable moment. I got that from Obama. But I love that about Trump. But he took too long on this one. I mean, why he let this thing fester? And here's Trump addressing it recently.
I was talking about people that went because they felt very strongly about the monument to Robert E. Lee, a great general. Whether you like it or not, he was one of the great generals. I've spoken to many generals here, right at the White House, and many people thought of the generals. They think that he was maybe their favorite general. People were there protesting
what a bullshit.
for taking down of the monument of Robert E. Lee.
When he speaks, he's like me when I got an essay question in high school. You know, you fill the first 3 pages with bullshit. That's not, we were talking about your comments about Charlottesville. Generals, generals are very good people. I know a lot of generals. Matter of fact, when I have Chinese food, General Tso's chicken. I don't know if you know the history of General Tso. Great general. A lot of the Chinese loved him. 3 generals. The general idea. He really is. I was a salesman, folks, when I got out of college. This guy, he just shovels it, man, You take an essay and you just fucking, that's what I used to do in high school. It was an essay question about the Civil War, and it was like a lot of other wars. World War II, there was rifles and guns and people dying. 8 pages later, D-. Tapper played a clip of Trump's remarks, though not the portion in which Trump made it clear to reporters that he was not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. Why wouldn't you play that, Tapper, you fucknut? Instead, Tapper described that portion of the press conference. Tapper said, now elsewhere in those remarks, Trump did condemn neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So he's not saying that neo-Nazis and white supremacists are very fine people. We know, you dumb fuck. Why didn't you report it like that? They intentionally took him out of context. We know that. Jesus H. Christ. And you're still working for CNN? That's like Brian Williams still has a job. Lying motherless fuck. Tapper's admission is a major concession by CNN. No, it's not. Which has refused thus far to correct or retract its repeated claims in recent weeks that Trump was, in fact, referring to the neo-Nazis as very fine people. The network even, listen to this, aired deceptively edited video of Trump's remarks to create the impression that he had said something that he had not. They're fucking ridiculous.
But it's all lies.
And they're still on the fucking air. CNN's still on the air. Donna Brazile had the goddamn debate questions for Hillary when she was running against Bernie Sanders. And she's still on TV. Sharpton still has a show. Responsible for racial riots in New York, people dying, Tawana Brawley. They still have fucking contracts with networks on the left. How much more evidence do you need? Where is the building? CNN's in Atlanta, right? I can get down there if I leave 1 o'clock. You know how to make a Molotov? Not for I'm just asking. That was separate from the scene. In the Friday broadcast, Tappo went on to question the notion that anyone protesting alongside the neo-Nazis could be very fine people. Exactly. So where were you 2 years ago? Look at that. Look at that shit-eating grin. It's like a baby with gas. Got that dog shit haircut. And he was at Fox News for like 3 minutes. As the New York Times reported at the time, some protesters who were present in Charlottesville had nothing to do with the neo-Nazis or white supremacists. Oh my God, even the Times got it right. But again, I blame them for taking so long. For somebody kicks you in the balls, you don't wait a year to kick them back. And that thing really mushroomed. And it really hurt the country. It still hurts Trump to this day. And Biden used it in his announcement. He's playing the race card in his announcement. So you know where he's going if he gets elected. And that's what you want. That's fine. Some people want that. Oh, my God. What do we got here? Oh, let's talk, folks. Let's talk about something called Orange Crush. I'm not talking about Melania's love for her husband. Orange Crush is like a black spring break that they have not far from here at a place called Tybee Island. And it's quite a gathering. And apparently the guy who organized it is in some deep shit. Tybee Island, the police department says that they have arrested the Orange Crush promoter on felony charges. Oh, it's that racist justice system. They can't get a break, these fellas. I love Orange Crush, by the way. I drink like a 14-year-old black kid. I do. I love Orange Crush. I love fucking Mountain Dew. Anything grape. Well, I have black blood in me. Let's be honest. I got a lot of Italian in me. So I bought a bag of pork cracklings down here. Pork crackling. It's actually fat from a fucking pork shoulder. And they deep fry it for 4 years and throw it in a bag like it's Cheez-Its. I bought them. I'm like, these can't be good for you. I turn it around, and I know they're not going to be. There's a picture of Dick Cheney clutching his chest. 7,100 grams of fat per sniff. Oh, my God, are they good. I'm Southern, y'all. Anyways, they arrested him on felony charges, and the department says all events associated with Orange Crush and George Mikey Turner are canceled. Anytime you do business with a George Mikey Turner, he sounds like one of those sitcom guys from the 80s. He always had 3 names, Patrick, Michael, Faggotry, and Todd, Jamal, Kevin. Anyways, let's take a look at what goes on at Orange. I wanted to. I wasn't around. I wanted to catch this Orange Crush thing, but I was stuck in Charlotte because I went to it a few years ago. They fucking loved me. Here's what goes on. I see nothing wrong so far. What the hell is Warren Sapp doing? We got Warren Sapp. He's practicing his blocking. That doesn't look like fun. You're going to tell me the guy that promoted this type of stuff was into some bad shit? You saw the ass on that woman. Mother of Christ, it was beautiful. Pork cracklins. There's a white version of Orange Crush they have at that, what is it, Village down in Florida? Here's the white version of Orange Crush, you guys. Yeah! Look at them titties. That guy's got some rhythm, huh? Guy had a rhythm of a broken furnace. It's a nice shot of a German bodybuilder in his 60s dancing on the beach. Somebody got hard. Ryan's not here. Turner, the promoter, was arrested Friday night by Tybee Island police and charged with a felony for criminal damage to property in the second degree for serious damage to personal and real property. Police additionally charged him, get this, with providing a false name to officers, maintaining a disorderly house. What? Jesus Christ, I hope they don't come to my neighborhood. I'm living on a mattress right now. I'm like Steve Buscemi in The Sopranos. I need a little Asian hooker to jack me off. How do you charge somebody maintaining a disorderly house? What happens when they rented the house and they trashed it? As these things happen. In violation with a city ordinance and actively promoting an unpermitted event. Sounds like one of my stand-up gigs that Tommy booked. Tybee police responded to a house on the north end for overflow parking, loud noise coming from the home, and Warren Sapp shaking his ass. Once police arrived, an estimated 200 people left the one-bedroom apartment. No. That would be Mexicans. Nothing. Once police arrived, an estimated 200 people left the property. The owner of the house had previously asked the home be vacated. According to the authorities, officers found significant damage to the residence when they inspected. Turner provided a fictitious identity to officers on the scene. His license said Tony Danza. What the fuck? And then he provided another one, Carol Channing. He was later properly identified by officers and arrested. He's not a good guy.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
Turner was actively promoting a party that happened without the homeowner's permission and charging admission. There he is. Listen, fella, I sort of respect you. I mean, you were organizing a nice party for people. Sure, you didn't have the permission to use the house and shit and you trashed it, but I'm sure you're a nice fella, and you'll be drafted by the Falcons next year. If you're lucky. Doesn't look upset. I'm guessing that's like not his first mugshot. Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? I've been on camera before. What are you going to do? I'm going to Orange Crush next year. I'm going to promote it. In conjunction with the Cracker Barrel. There'll be free cheese for everyone. All kinds of accordions. I'm telling you, wear your britches. I'm going to dedicate the last part of the show to me being down here. I do, folks. Georgia, don't get mad at the cold opening and shit. I moved here, didn't I? I like it. I'm not looking for the oppressive heat. I'm a bit of a bitch about that. But I heard it only runs, the heat runs from like May till December. Is that true? You're going to have skin cancer and fucking chiggers. Chiggers are in trees. I know that's not a racist. It's not. It's bugs. They have live oak trees down here with, you know the moss hanging off the Spanish moss. And the chiggers, fill in your own Tiger Woods joke. They're in the Spanish moss, and they're like ticks. They cling onto your balls. And at this point, they don't sound like a bad idea. But it's very different. I'm from the Northeast, Boston, New York area, and I grew up on Italian food and shit, but I've always liked gumbo and stuff like that, fried cracklings and Mountain Dew. I like Southern stuff. And let's take a look at some of the most popular. These are, well, they said there are 10, excuse me, 10 obscure Southern dishes that you need to know. Spoon bread. God bless the South. They're trying to eat fucking bread with a spoon. What are you, Chinese? It's like a Chinese guy trying to eat a prime rib with his... But as you can see, that looks delicious. Anything could be under that, by the way. That's the thing. It could be seafood, right? They say it could be pork.
It could be chiggers.
It could be chiggers and a nice cream sauce. But I don't like the name. That's very racist, spoon. That's like a derogatory thing for black people up north. I'm just saying. You Southern people still letting it fly down here. Also spoon bread, it's Native American in origin, so it tastes like Elizabeth Warren. Ooh. Let's skip over that one, huh? Boiled peanuts. Look at these things. Oh, that looks appetizing. Yeah, my dick's getting hard looking at that. That's what I found in the fucking sink when we moved into our house. Have you had boiled peanuts, folks? This is a Southern thing. It's like somebody dropped a bag of peanuts in a puddle for 2 days. Or you had your dog piss on them. They're salty and wet. And you know what? I love them. So does my wife. She had me eating these in New York. I eat the dried peanuts with the shell on, so when I move my bowels, I have to get stitched up. These are nice and mushy. And you don't take them. Honey, you take them out of the shell? Some? What are you, racist against them? If they're real mushy, you can put these right in a food processor and make peanut pudding, boil peanut smoothie. I love them. I ate a can and a half of those, and I had the blood pressure of B.B. King when he passed out on stage before he died. But what else do we have here? That's not obscure, but how obscure is boiled peanuts? This guy, who wrote this thing? Somebody from the Times, some Jew hater? Oh, Chitlins. Chitlins. That's a good picture of chitlins, by the way. They actually look appetizing there. Chitlins, if you guys don't know, it's the guts. It's the intestines of pigs and shit. You don't even have to cook them. You could see like a dead raccoon in the breakdown lane and just suck on his ass for an hour and a half, and you're going to get some intestines. But I like all this shit. I'm like I said, I'm half Italian, half a little bit black in there. I'm a big Chitlins fan. Yeah, they're intestines. And so is sausage, sausage casings are the intestines, If you like intestines. I actually tasted intestines because I went a little too far with the broad one night. And I got all fucked up on some type of angel dust, and they found her head in the freezer. But listen, on to the next dish. What do we got here? Comeback sauce. You know what's funny? And it says comeback sauce. By the way, you know where you can get it? They say it's very prevalent in Atlanta. Well, you should have gave the Falcons some of that shit with about a minute left against the Patriots. Apparently the Patriots had a gallon of it at halftime. Comeback sauce. This is what you eat when you come out of rehab. You're declared as mentally ill and you're on heroin. They go, try this comeback sauce. Then you find yourself working at IKEA a week later. Johnny cakes. They're also called hoe cakes, and that's because they look like the tits of a 68-year-old hooker. I still don't know what that is. It looks like an English muffin, and I have no idea what that is. A glob of Hep C on top. Chow chow. Oh, this is my favorite. Let's look at the chow chow, huh? I ordered these when we stopped in Charlotte when I first came down here. I ordered the chow chow, and I said, why did the head chef jerk off on my fucking black-eyed peas? And it looks like he hadn't got a nut off in about a month. A little bit chunky for me. I don't mean to be gross, folks, but if you can eat that, aye. What is that? What's your name? Deke? Deke, you grew up here. What's on top there?
I have no fucking clue.
I'll tell you what it is. Earwax and carrots.
Never had that in my life.
And finally, we have calf fries. Pull up the calf fries picture. Look at that. It looks like a cumulus cloud over Beijing. They have a lot of pollution there. Doesn't that look like? Or Nagasaki. You know what calf fries are? They're also known as Rocky Mountain oysters, which I've had. They're fucking balls. They're goat balls, calf balls. It says right here, get their start at home on the range when cattle were castrated young. And some horny guys said, let's swallow them balls. What to do with the testicles? Why, fry them up and eat them with gravy, of course. I had a girl try that on me at her house. Let me tell you, never went back. But it's a delicious food when you have to lie about the name? Calf fries. Fucking goat nuts. The gay guys love them. They say, could you take the breading off so the skin is showing? Jesus Christ, I got eyebrows like Ed Asner. When did I turn 78? Let's stay in the South, shall we? Here's why I love the culture. They're big on guns down. It's the first thing I did when I got down here. I did the most Southern thing you could do. I went to Chick-fil-A with a handgun on my lap. Nobody said shit. It's true. I went to Chick-fil-A. This is how stupid. Moved down here on Easter. We thought Chick-fil-A would be open on Easter. I mean, their sign is not the Golden Arches. It's like a crucifix. Jesus with a burger in his mouth. But this is true. I go to Chick-fil-A. My wife had never had a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and I'm that kind of husband. I went out of my way, almost a minute and a half. It was a double drive-through. I don't understand. It was just a drive-through. There was you couldn't go in and order. That must be a Southern thing. I don't know. I know you can get a six-pack out a window here and a handgun. But I go to Chick-fil-A, so I get out of there, because they had umbrellas and tables out front. So you're going to tell me here down south, you guys go through the drive-thru and then pull over and get out of your car and sit at the table? Why were there tables and fucking umbrellas? Call me a detective. That looks like a...
There's a walk-up window. You can walk up to it and then sit at the tables.
I couldn't find the walk-up, though.
It's right at the front. It's really...
Dude, I went to the front. I went to those windows. I go, this must be where you can... I get up there. You know what I see? The backs of 9 black people cooking. And a bunch of boxes stacked. The guy looked at me. He was like, what the fuck you looking in the window for? But there was no menu. Could you order from that window?
Yeah, that's what... There's 2 windows in the front and then 2 on either side.
Oh, my God, I really fucked up. First of all, we went go there on Easter. That was funny. But I went twice, and the second time I didn't know it was drive-thru. I'm on foot cutting through the cars in the drive-thru line. People are all looking at me. Look at this Yankee fuck. But anyways, I have my gun with me, so they love their guns. And if you don't believe me, check this out. I call this pre-K with an AK. God bless the South. I've never seen this up north. What gun culture? Who's this guy babysitting El Chapo's kid? Somebody's got a bounty on this baby's head. He stole some paste. That's ammunition for the kid. All right, shut it off. That music makes me want to fuck my sister. Again. Ah, for the love of Pete. Yeah, they love their guns down here. I got a couple. Speaking of guns and crazy white folk in the South, and, well, these fellas are everywhere, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. KKK leader's wife admits to killing her husband. Of course she does.
White power, 1, 2, 3, 4. I stand and watch my country
Going down the drain.
We are all at fault now. We are all to blame.
This is my wedding song. All right, enough of that. Oh, that's me.
Once we had an empire.
What are the odds those guys were on meth when they wrote that catchy little tune? There was no weed in that fucking writing room. Billy, give me the needle, please. I got to write a bridge for this. The wife of a deceased Ku Klux Klan leader in Missouri admitted in court Friday to his 2017 shooting death after initially saying 2 years ago that her son was the murderer. Nice fucking mother. Now she says her son didn't help commit the homicide. Here's a picture of the woman who killed her. Look at that beauty. She was Miss Tallahassee in 1984. That's what you get when the St. Pauli's girl fucks a peanut farmer from Atlanta. She thinks that wig and that little bit of pink in her hair is going to get her laid. Got a face like Boss Hogg. Oh, my aching word. Her eyes, they're almost on top of each other. But she says her son didn't do it. Melissa, they even spelled that wrong. Incana, 46, pleaded guilty in St. Francois County Circuit Court in Farmington, Missouri, to second-degree murder and the death of Frank Incona Jr., as well as tampering with evidence and the abandonment of a corpse, which they found in her Subaru next to her as she was going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A. As part of her plea agreement with the state prosecutor, she was sentenced to life in prison. Incona was 51 when he died in February 2017, was Imperial Wizard of the traditionalist American Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, they're good. Which is believed to have only a few dozen members nationwide. More proof that they hardly exist anymore. I love how Southern Poverty Law Center, ACLU, they're everywhere. White supremacy is the problem. Meanwhile, Orange Crush had 7,000 more people at a house. Yeah, so imagine she shot her goddamn son, this fucking psycho.
Don't you move, you motherfucker! I'll blow your brains out!
That's her voice. Frank Ancona Jr. was killed by a wound to the head, a couple gunshot wounds. He was found dead on a bank of the Big River near Belgrade, Missouri, about 70 miles southwest of St. Louis. Originally, Melissa Ancona of Leadwood, Missouri, reported her husband missing. Then she said that her son, Paul Jinkerson Jr., the stepson of Frank Ancona Jr., killed him while he was sleeping with a 9mm handgun after he asked for a divorce. But she later changed her tune again in letters from jail. She said she was under the influence of a bad hairdresser. She was under the influence when she made her first statements, instead took the blame for the killing. I fired both shots that killed my husband, she said. And then she sat down, had some spoon bread. In addition, Ancona admitted in court to cleaning the walls of their bedroom and disposing of bloody bedding and dumping Frank Ancona Jr.'s body near the Belgrade, Missouri. Oh, my God. Mama.
Bye-bye.
Jinkerson, 26, facing first-degree murder charges and also, like Melissa Ancona, charges of abandoning a corpse. What are you supposed to stay with it? That's a fucking charge, abandoning a corpse? You're supposed to sleep with it like most people do up north for a couple weeks? But Melissa Ancona said in court Friday that Jinkerson was not guilty of murder, only the other two crimes. Frank Ancona Sr., that's the dad, testified in court that Melissa Ancona killed his son because he was going to leave his wife. Probably she must have had the hots for her. Anyways, that woman is beautiful. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not into fat shaming or anything. Look at the permanent frown on her face. That's what you get. You fucking banging the wizard. Look at that look. That's Artie Lang's mouth. That is Artie Lang's mouth, I swear to God. Hey, I think that's about it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I love it down here. So, Georgia, if I hurt your feelings making fun of your food and shit, I eat it all. I love it all. I vote like you, and that's why people up north never accepted me. Remember, folks, you guys have been thinking it for 30 years. I've been saying it. You're very welcome. I will see you guys on Patreon tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, everybody.